Hey guys, I'm coming here tonight from the house. Fantasy Weekly, week 7. We'll look at week 7, look ahead to week 8. Kind of having like a little worn down, I'm not going to lie. Took a lot to actually commit to doing, 20, 30 minutes for you here. I'm going to try and keep it quick. This has nothing to do with any posts in the past. I just know that Anthony and I work close together, and I know what the weekend looks like. It's kind of almost a weight off our shoulders to get this thing done. So I'm just going to get it done. Kind of going through a little bit of a transition at work, putting in extra hours, trying to figure out some new stuff. Honestly, if you guys, frankly, I want to be a little bit vulnerable to everybody. If you've ever been through, a transition where you've been for a long time and you're trying to figure out how to do things a different way and how to balance the highs and lows of good days and bad days, leave a comment, leave a post. I really appreciate it. I reflect all you guys, and it would mean a lot to me. Let's get into it, though. The fun stuff. Fantasy football. It's fun. Looks like now, though, honestly, the way the standings are, kind of looks like we got 8 teams looking for 6 spots. Bunch of 3 and 4 teams, which are going to be, if you're 3 and 4 right now, like the commissions, I think Steven is, you got to be grinding out every single point. I am talking dirty stuff. Like if it's Friday night and you can pick up somebody without having any waiver ramifications, you need to pick up a better kicker and drop your kicker. That kind of stuff. Just some dirty, grimy, every single point you can get to get into the playoffs. Because really, we've got 4 teams at 5 and 2 or better. And then we got 4 teams all digging to try and make it into the playoffs, be in that top 6. So you got to grind out every point you can get. We'll take a look back at week 7, see what happened, recap it a bit, see if I can criticize anybody, see if I can compliment somebody. We'll start off, honestly, 4th and 20, Jack's team versus the Lone Rangers. I believe this is the biggest blowout of the week. Jack goes off for another huge number, 154 to 100. I was wrong on Weekly last week. I picked Tim's team, kind of for fun. But, hey, I picked him, so I was wrong. You know what I'm going to look at, though, when I look at Jack's team in the future? Frankly, it's just I'm going to look at Kansas City's matchup. And that's it. Because there's not much more. That's the stake of his team. That's the sizzle of his team. That's his whole team. So we go for Mahomes and Kareem Hunt this week. Go for 70 points. Game over. You got 2 players getting 70. You don't have to do much else. And especially when you're playing Tim's team. Because Tim just, frankly, has bad luck all the time. I still will criticize Jack's team. I'll still say his team's a mess on the bench. There's not much there. We're Wednesday night. Marshawn Lynch is out for the rest of the season. He's still on his bench. I don't know what he's waiting for. That IR thing means Jack ain't coming back. Week 16 is when he can come back. So why you weren't out there with, I think he had waiver priority number 1 and picking up Marlon Mack or Jalen Richard, I don't know. Just not paying attention. He drafted well, and he has good players that he starts on a week in and week out basis. He's able to deal with some of these buys because he's getting so many points out of 2 players. Hunt and Mahomes are just lighting it up every week. We still have Alvin Kamara. Josh Gordon, actually, I could be wrong. I thought that, if Josh Gordon was that good, he'd still be a Cleveland Brown because they gave him every chance in the world to be a Cleveland Brown. He's in the offense last week for the Patriots, so I like that. Maybe Josh Gordon's somebody that helps his roster for the rest of the season. I did talk about Ben Watson as well. I like having a tight end on a team that scores a bunch of points, even though, weekly, tight end is so shallow, but Ben Watson's a guy that's going to put up points for you sometimes. That was a tough matchup for the Saints last week. And the Saints are a real team, guys. When you talk about the New Orleans Saints, they're going to be a real contender. A team that I see definitely going deep in the playoffs. Over to Tim's team real quick. I don't want to waste too much time on it. We're still, I don't know. He gets bad luck. He's got the Marquise Goodwin kid from San Francisco. Last week puts up 27. This week puts up 2. He plays them, hoping he's going to find lightning in the bottle there real quick. And he goes minus 25 on a week-to-week basis there. But this is just somebody that just doesn't. He's not out there. Why is Tim not out there picking up Marlon Mack? Why is Tim not out there making something happen for his team? You draft poorly, and this is where you end up. We still have 2 kickers on the roster. I don't understand. I don't get it. I don't get it. Tim, get rid of one of your kickers. Please, 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 please. Go on to the next matchup. I think we're going to go to, I like this one. Closest matchup of the week, I believe. We got Steven's Longdown Silver versus Jamie's Breeze Knees squad. And honestly, I don't know what's happened to Steven, but he's kicked it into gear. This guy's making decisions on who's going to play on a week in and week out basis. Now if you're out there and you own Deshaun Watson like Steven does, it sounds to me like Deshaun Watson's supposed to be a top 10 quarterback. You're going to play him every week. Steven says no. Deshaun's playing at Jacksonville. He's a little bit banged up. He goes out there, picks up Baker Mayfield, and plays him, and picks up points. Picks up points for a win. That's playing hard. I like that. He picks up Indianapolis' defense, who was playing against the Buffalo Bills. Picks up some extra points there. Also, he sits LaShawn McCoy. So think about that. Preseason. You're going to have McCoy and you're going to have Deshaun Watson. You're going to sit them both with a coach's decision. Now, McCoy got hurt, but, still, this is a huge move for him to make these decisions and get himself a win out of it. Steven's playing, guys. I've ridiculed him in the past, but I think he's really turned it up the last couple of weeks, and I like it. Latavius Murray on his bench puts up 21 points. I don't blame him for not starting him. He had a tough decision with him or Crowell. I probably would have gone with Murray. I probably might even go with Murray next week because Dalvin Cook's still up in the air as to what his hamstring's going to do. Is he going to feel well? Is he not going to feel well? And then over to the Breeze Knees. Really, this is a game on Monday Night Football. We're up late watching it, seeing if Tevin Coleman's going to get Jamie over the top. He doesn't. He comes very close. Steven had to be sitting there watching this game going, please stop giving Tevin Coleman the ball. If I see him catch another pass, I'm going to puke. Jamie runs into bye week trouble. No Antonio Brown. Obviously, her first-round draft pick. So, if she has Antonio Brown this week, she probably wins. But, she does make a start there with Duke Johnson at the flex over Kenyon Drake against the Lions. The Lions just today upgraded their defensive running game, picking up Snack Harrison or something like that from the Giants. He's supposed to be the best run stopper in the league. So, big pickup for the Lions. But he wasn't there last week, and Kenyon Drake was out there on the field, and he put up 16 big fantasy points. She misses out on that equity, and it costs her to win. So, it's just coaching decisions. They'll bite you in the ass sometimes. Next matchup, we're going to go to the Ganoush, who sits in one of those bottom spots, unfortunately for him. Definitely wrong about his team. I liked his team at the beginning of the season. I've always tried to root for his team to make my prognostication correct, but he really is just, he's got bad luck on a week in and week out basis. Did anybody think that David Johnson, who was going to be a first-round draft pick in every single fantasy league, was really just going to be this big of a dumpster fire? The Arizona Cardinals were this big of a dumpster fire because they're getting towards that Buffalo Bills territory. It looked really bad against the Broncos last week. He just doesn't, look that good. Honestly, this is a lower scoring game. Derek puts up one of those numbers that I talk about where he has to make somebody beat him. He gets a win at 105 points, which I feel good for Derek for. Because honestly, Derek's put up some big numbers this year. I think he has me beating points, and I'm 8-0 or 7-0, where the hell I am. I haven't lost yet. And Derek's put up some big numbers and has lost plenty. And he gets like one of those grimy wins that you need. But when I look at Derek's team, I'm going to say it again. I said it last week on Weekly. If you're in a situation where you can even consider benching Odell Beckham Jr., you have to make a trade. You have to make a trade. I mean, I'm not selling on Odell. Odell puts up 24 fantasy points last week on your bench, Derek. I know you get the win, so good on you, but I mean, trade Robert Woods. Trade Julio Jones. See what you can get. I mean, these are premier players that you could upgrade another position at. I mean, you don't have a quarterback, which I don't necessarily mind that you don't have a quarterback, but, I mean, maybe it'd be better if you just actually had one. You know, you started with, you know, I don't know. I know he has Carson Wentz, but Carson's been kind of mediocre this year. No big numbers yet. So, that's for Derek. The Ganoush, I mean, I guess, you know, he doesn't start Emmanuel Sanders. Who would he have benched? Yeah, we could have benched Taylor Gabriel for the Bears. That was a tough. Yeah, that's a decision I don't like. So again, the theme for his year too has been, I think there's been 2 or 3 weeks where we've had decisions that the Ganoush has had to make that he's been on the wrong side of. I know I'm sounding about. That's what my job is in this part, is to money more on quarterback. But go ahead and start Emmanuel Sanders over Taylor Gabriel, and you win the matchup. And that's a big deal. Now you're pretty much out. I mean, Tim and the Ganoush, out. They're not getting to the top 6. It's just not happening. We'll move on to the next matchup. We hyped this matchup a lot on Weekly last week with Anthony. The Swedenhouse Lift Mike Tate matchup. Michael Robinson versus Alex Giddings in the Thunderdome. And unfortunately for Alex, this team just doesn't show up. You know, we like Tyler Boyd. Doesn't score. Only gets 4 fantasy points. Corey Clement, I like that pickup as well. Only gets 3 points. Matt Breida gets injured after, I think, 5 snaps or something crazy like that. I mean, there's not much you can do there. You're going to run into these weeks. I'm not going to beat up on Alex. I think he's a player. You know, he has Devontae Adams on a bye last week. Mike Linson, a bit of luck there, but I don't know that anything would have mattered. He really only gets production out of his 3 best players, Goff, Gurley, who is just a fantasy stud, and Zach Ertz. Everybody else shows up with less than 5 points. So you're just not going to win many games that way. Mike's team really just puts up one of those numbers. You got to beat it. Goes for 116. Gets a lot of average performances out of everybody. Dealing with a little bit of injury bug there with Shoney Michel going down, but one thing Mike has done is that next week I guess we're not going to play Michel. We're going to play Ingram. That's fine. He did have a little bit of a funny situation because Melvin Gordon last week was questionable all week, but it kind of looked like one of those questionables that were like, okay, but he's going to play, whatever, limited practice, that kind of thing. But Saturday night, they're in London. Melvin Gordon, still questionable, starts to ramp up the talk that maybe he won't even play. And Mike goes out on waiver land and just picks up his backup. I think it's a great pickup for him. Austin Eckler picks up his backup, plugs him right into the lineup. He gets 10 fantasy points for him, which, I know it's not huge, but he wasn't in a panic situation. It was just, there's moves to be made. Every time a player goes down, even if he's on your team, there's somebody else who's going to step in their spot. I think last Friday, the Cleveland Browns trade Carlos Hyde to Jacksonville, which is a good trade for those teams. Jacksonville has been missing Fournette. They've been relying on Yeldon, who's more of a third down back. That's probably his best role. And they pick up a grinder in Carlos Hyde. Well, and I go, okay, well that means that the Browns are probably going to start playing Nick Chubb a lot more. They have a rookie running back they drafted. They're probably going to start getting him some snaps. And I just go out and pick him up. And last week I didn't start him, but he was projected for 12 points. And I know a lot of guys out there would have loved to have a running back projected to play for 12 points. It's just as soon as you hear something, you got to get out there and see what's available. But Mike takes the matchup 116-88, moves up to 5-2, third place in the league by about 1 point. So if I was going to give midseason awards to, I'm going to give a co-MVP on most improved players in the league to my brother Michael Robinson with the Swedenhouse team and Derrickson. I think Derek has really been out there grinding. Somebody who probably came into the league just trying to have fun, and I see him at work every day, and this guy he wants to talk fantasy. He's really into it, and I think that maybe I don't know if he's played before. I'm going to have to ask him, but I think that this is something that, maybe it's a lifelong passion of mine. I've been doing this for 15 years, and something that, it's so much fun that, you've got these guys. You own this guy, come on, just go, give me another score. And these guys have got the bug, and I love it. And, honestly, I could lose the rest of my games, and so long as, we got a couple of those guys that we bring in. This is kind of a newcomer league, and we had a couple of newcomers come in, and they find the bug, they find the love for it, and they understand, what the water cooler conversations are about when we're talking fantasy football. I mean, that's just awesome. Move on to the last matchup from last week. Let's see here. We've got, we did all of them, right? This one. Yeah, no, that's it. Oh, no, mine. That's right. My matchup from last week. Interesting. I played against Anthony's team. Clash of the Hosts. Thursday Night Football. I'm sitting here watching, for whatever reason, just ignorantly thinking that nobody has anybody playing, and Denver just smokes the Arizona Cardinals. And, I mean, I think two of the first three drives, the Broncos returned touchdowns on defense. And, oh gosh, I wish I had Denver's defense. Turns out Anthony had Denver's defense. So I started off 32-0 in the hole, thinking that I'm definitely facing my first loss of the year. And I get fortunate. Anthony's team, underperforms in a lot of spots. But there's just he doesn't have a lot of horses. And we're starting Buck Allen for the Ravens. He's the number 2-ish running back. Definitely a solid split there in Baltimore. D.D. Westbrook, I mean, I don't know if you ever want to start a Jacksonville receiver, so long as Blake Bortles is throwing the ball. I mean, the only time that Eli Manning looks good is when you compare him to Blake Bortles. And that Jacksonville should have Eli Manning. Should have traded for him last year. Close matchup. I end up winning 124-113. We both put up one of those numbers, and I go out and I beat Anthony. He made me beat him. I do. Went down to Monday Night Football, but I had Matt Ryan playing Monday Night Football. I do love the fact that, as a Detroiter, I think that we actually have a running back in Detroit now. Kerryon Johnson is legit. That's it. He's legit. Had a bunch of coaching decisions to make last week, with my running back situation. I end up making the right one, sitting Jordan Howard. I play Kerryon Johnson. Gives me +7 there. And really just run-of-the-mill performances from everybody, but everybody goes double digits. Outside of Kyle Rudolph, I really don't have a tight end. There's a lot of players that just don't have tight ends. I mean, Anthony plays Evan Ingram. This is a guy that could be a top 5 tight end, but he doesn't get much love either. There's not a lot of guys out there. McCaffrey still is not getting in the end zone. That's troublesome for McCaffrey owners. I'm a McCaffrey owner in a different league. Actually went out and traded for him. And, he's not scoring in the red zone. I'm definitely getting a lot of work. He's on the field all the time and looks dynamic. Excuse me. Looks very dynamic, but it's just not getting in the end zone. He gets a big performance out of Cam Newton. Definitely going to be starting him on a week-in and week-out basis. Pittsburgh's on a bye last week for Anthony, so, technically 2 of his running backs aren't starting. Even though I don't know what you do with Le'Veon Bell right now. I mean, I think I called it week 3 you drop him. Now we're at week 8. I mean, he's almost just stuck with holding on to him. He's wasted all this time with him on his bench. Frankly, I would have liked to see Anthony go out there and pick up Marlon Mack or Jalen Richard. Tried to shake it up, get somebody in at the running back position and score some points. I mean, he's going to have Connor coming back this week, but even, if you're starting, Deshaun Jackson at the flex, maybe it's a better deal with Mack coming back, with Indianapolis starting him. I don't know. I mean, I'm being hypercritical, but that's what I get to do here. On to week 8 projections. Let's see here. We'll start off. With Long Down Silver. Steven's team versus the Ganoush. Projected a very close matchup here. We have... All right. This one, we'll talk about this. There's 2 things that I don't like about... the 2 things I don't like... excuse me. The most about the NFL schedule is I don't like Thursday Night Football. And I hate London games. Not because it's inconvenient to watch. Actually, a Thursday night game is a great thing for me to watch, but it's just unfair. 3 days off, 4 days off, whatever it is, and you got these guys going back on the field and putting their life on the line. Frankly, these guys are crazy to play this game, but hell of an entertaining game. And Steven is playing 1, 2, 3. He's got 3 of his best players playing on Thursday Night Football. 4. We've got 4 players on. He's got Houston's defense, which I don't mind as a start against Miami at home. It looks like a good matchup. This is why he's projected to win by a couple of points. He's got Deshaun Watson, DeAndre Hopkins, Lamar Miller, all at home, all against the Dolphins. Houston's defense and home against the Dolphins. I just hate the Thursday night curse. I don't know. I hate playing players on Thursday night. I hate it. You just never seem to get that big performance. And it's going to be tough for all those factors to work out together. You've got a good, you need good offense, but okay, so, can all those players perform at peak levels at the same time when you're playing the same defense? I don't know. Maybe they can. People say, experts say you shouldn't worry about those type of things, but I worry about them to a certain extent. Look over to Alex's team real quick here, or the Ganoush's team real quick here, and I think he lives or dies here with Ben Roethlisberger. His best matchup this week is definitely Pittsburgh versus Cleveland at home. I think that he's got to look. They only have Ben projected at 20, but for Ganoush to get a win here, get a second win of the year, I think he needs Ben to go off for 25-30 easy. We're playing Emmanuel Sanders. I like that. Baltimore defense could be a sneaky good play at home against Carolina. Coming off a loss, tough loss, really grinded out game. I liked it. Still holding on to Dalvin Cook. I guess he has to, but really he's just got injury problems on the bench with Cook, Thompson, Demaryius Thomas has not been performing like he should. Just not a ton of players that he can improve his roster with, so I think he needed to get out there in waiver land and find a pickup. Yahoo continues to overproject David Johnson, but this week San Francisco's coming to town. Maybe he can get off for a good number. But I'm going to go with Steven's team here for the win. I just think it's, I don't like the Thursday night players. I don't like playing on Thursday night, but I like the Watson, Hopkins, Miller. I think that's a great matchup for them. If it was a Sunday, I would say Steven would win by a lot. And I think Steven has the momentum. I know that sounds crazy, but I think that, it has a lot to do with, just trends of how players are playing. And I think that, Hopkins has been a steady performer. And Steven's out there playing. So good things happen to players who play out. I don't know if that made any sense. Probably not. The Breeze needs a win. She's in that... that log jam there in the 5, 6, 7, 8 spot, and she gets exactly what she needs. Matchup against the Lone Rangers. I don't know if I've ever seen a score projected so low for a team that is starting all the players are going to start on Sunday. When it comes to Tim's team, he's going to ride or die with Mitchell Trubisky now. Apparently, Matt Stafford's going to sit the bench. We still have 2 kickers. Last week, Gronkowski goes down with an injury. That's definitely one of the players he would be needing to score a bunch of points, and he's just not. And I think that trend's going to continue for Jamie. She got, she benched Drew Brees last week. I think Cousins ends up going +2 over Brees last week. I don't like the benching, just because I think Drew Brees is a player you got to play every week. He's got a tough matchup again this week, going to Minnesota. That defense, though, has not been as good as advertised. I think that I would play Brees this week over Kirk Cousins. She gets Antonio Brown back. She's hoping to get Larry Fitzgerald back. James White. Now, there's a player whose stock has just gone up in the last week with Sony Michel going out. It'll be interesting to see if they're going to have White's role expand with Michelle out. for the next couple weeks? Are they going to let White play on first and second down? Is he going to see some goal line carries? Or is he going to mainly be the pass receiving James White we know? Either of those results are fine. Obviously, I'm sure she would appreciate a few more goal line carries for James White. She starts Kenyon Drake this week. Thursday night game at Houston. Tough matchup. Still have Duke Johnson in the lineup. I mean, she's probably doing the whole thing where, Carlos Hyde's gone, so Duke Johnson, Nick Chubb, both on the upside. I would have liked to see her figure out how to pick up Nick Chubb before I did. That would have been a better pickup than Duke Johnson. Collins on the bench. She's got a lot of those running backs that are in the committee. But regardless, she finds herself in a nice spot here where she is against the Lone Rangers, and I go with Jamie for the win. And Tim falling to 0 in whatever week it is. Next matchup, we're going to move into the... I like this one. It's a battle of our mid-season most improved players. The Sweden House Buffet, where the extras don't cost extra, versus Derek's Auto Draft Team for the win. Looks like we're going to play Odell this week, so that means we are sitting. Oh, Julio Jones. So, here. Last week it kind of bit him, but this week it helps him out. He has all that depth at receiver, so he gets to just go out and fire, Thielen, Beckham, and Robert Woods at Mike at receiver and flex, which, that's probably the best receiver flex options you're going to find in the league right now. Joe Mixon, like him. Yeldon, we're going to find out if Carlos Hyde is going to steal from him as much as I think he will, because I think that Yeldon will go back to just being a third down back. But that is, of course, the London game, which I don't like London games anymore. Maybe Dalton, he's all right. They were terrible last week against the Chiefs, but he's playing against Tampa, who has the worst secondary in the league, so it's a good start for him there. I wouldn't mind seeing him, if Derek really believes his team can make the playoffs, and I know I underemphasize quarterback in fantasy, but I think he has enough depth at receiver that he could trade an Odell or a Julio or even a Robert Woods for a top 5 quarterback in the league. I think there'll be a lot of takers on that. Maybe even me. Who knows? Hit me up. Over the Sweden House team, we're dealing with that Sony Michel injury. Looks like we picked up. This is our pickup. Picks up. Excuse me. You ever one of those colds that just lasts for like a week and a half and hasn't gone away yet? Yeah, it's kind of where I'm at right now. Kind of feel alright, but just cough way too much. Kind of hurts, but whatever. But he picks up Marlon Mack for the Colts, and I think he had to drop. He had 2 tight ends, drop one of his tight ends, Hooper. So no more Hooper's birthday. He's out there in Waverland if you want to pick him up. I like Mike's team. Solid. Going to have Golden Tate, Juju, and Alshon Jeffrey. That's another good receiver flex there. Runs into bye week trouble with Melvin Gordon out this week. He's got some decisions to make. Do you play Kenny Galladay? Do you play, Golden Tate? Probably going to play Tate every week. Mark Ingram's going to start for him on Sunday Night Football. Alshon Jeffrey. Just a solid squad up and down, so it's a tough team to beat. Derek's team projected to have an 8-point win this week, and I'm going to go with that. I like Derek's team. I like his momentum. I think that he's going to get the win, get himself up to 4-4. I see Derek as a playoff team. I see both these teams as playoff teams, and frankly, I wouldn't mind seeing this matchup week 1 in the Fantasy BFD playoffs. Let's see here. We're going to go on to the next matchup. Let's see here. We got to go like this. And get rid of this. That's why you just... I need like a producer. I don't even need a co-host. I need a producer. Sometimes like the back arrow goes away because of a reminder. I got to remind myself to go lock up the brewery tonight, but I'm not at work, so I can't really do that. Anyways, 4th and 20 versus Ridiculous. I know where my sentiment's going to go on this one. I'm definitely going to want Ridiculous to win, but let's see how it goes. Strong at running back for Ridiculousness. McCaffrey, James Conner, both starting. James Conner has a great matchup against Cleveland. McCaffrey could be a tougher matchup, but McCaffrey's a guy I like because he's involved in the passing game too. I need to see him find the end zone. I will say that's the litmus test for this matchup is if McCaffrey can find a way to finally break through, get in the end zone, score some touchdowns for Anthony. He's going to have a good shot at taking down 4th and 20. 4th and 20, probably blotting out the same lineup every week. I don't know. I mean, it'd be nice. Kansas, I don't even know if Kansas City already have their bye. Did they already have their bye? No, week 12. So, play Jack week 12. That's the advice I have. Because, really, the projections for these guys are out of this world. They're putting Mahomes at 25 points, which he very well might get at home against Denver. I want to watch, how the Saints perform and how they run their offense with both Ingram and Kamara again this week. I'm looking for a little bit more drop-off out of Kamara. I like Mark Ingram. I like Kamara too, but Kamara started off the year with 30-plus points in 3 straight fantasy games without Ingram, 4 straight, however many games he was suspended. So I think that's something we're going to have to look forward to. But it's just a testament to Jack not being out there is that we're starting Geronimo Allison, which if we're in a 16-team league, he's going to be starting in every. But we're in a 10-team league, so Geronimo Allison should not be started. And it's not because he has better options on the bench. You could start Will Fuller. But I know that throughout the season there's been hiccups he could have made to improve that spot. I think for predictions this week on this matchup, I'm gonna go with ridiculousness, and I'm gonna say that McCaffrey finally gets in the end zone. So down goes Jack. I don't know. This is a theme on my show. I don't know. Maybe I just don't like Jack because he doesn't have to make these moves, and his team's still good. Probably is. Matchup of the week, though. 1 versus 4. We've got Alex Giddings' Lick My Tate squad with a logo versus Ridiculousness, or versus Shock and Awe, my squad, with a logo as well. That guy right there. There you go. One of the weeks I was looking forward to where New England defense, you couldn't pick up the defense playing against Buffalo because I own them and I've been holding on to them for this reason and this reason only, and that they're going to play them again in the Super Bowl. Getting healthy. That's what I'll say about my squad. Getting healthy, staying healthy. It's always the key in fantasy football. Started a couple tough receivers. I got A.J. Green, Michael Thomas, T.Y. Hilton. That's another good receiver flex spot here. And I get a little dirty. Like just about 40 minutes ago, I picked up Chris Boswell and dropped the other kicker I had, Alfred or Eldrick Rosas, just for 2 extra points. Because I think I need every point I can get this week. I did that after waivers were done, so it wouldn't affect my waiver priority. He's one of the 2 teams in this league, 3 teams in this team that has a real tight end. Ertz picks up a big number. I'm going to be concerned. Gurley. Gosh, I've never seen Gurley's projected to score 25 fantasy points at home against Green Bay. That's a tough number to hit, though. We're talking 100 yards, 2 scores, and he might not still be there. So that might be a little over-projected. I'm always going to pick myself to win. Let's see if there's any. Last week I think Alex started Allen Robinson. That had to be it was because Devontae Adams is out. Devontae Adams is back. These are 2 teams really almost fully healthy. The only bye week trouble I'm dealing with is Matt Ryan, but I get to plug in Andrew Luck. Luck's in Oakland. Oakland seems like a dumpster fire now too, so that's good for me. I'm going to say that if we can keep Gurley doesn't go off for his 25 projected, if Zach Ertz doesn't score a touchdown, I think I got this one in the bag. I've been running good in fantasy. Hopefully I continue to do so. Alex, keep on doing what you're doing. Get out here, co-host with us one week. Love your comments. I'd love to have you, take some notes. give an opening statement, a monologue, a closing statement. That's all I got for Fantasy Weekly this week. Thanks to Clubhouse BFD. Thanks to all you guys out there. Post something. Give me some hashtags. Give me some replies. Let me know you're watching. All right. Good night.